Hello, Potato. Come on in. Take a seat around the fire. There's plenty of space. Just find a spot. 'Cause it's once again story time. Today's story is a little darker than last time, but it's not super adult. There's some content that might be a little extreme for younger kids, but I don't think there's any cursing or anything. I would still suggest, before you let a child watch this one, maybe give it a watch through yourself first, just so you can judge where your child is on the horror spectrum. You know, some kids are good with full-on Nightmare on Elm Street. Some kids are a little freaked out by the classic The Fly, the original, not the Jeff Goldblum version. Everybody should be freaked out by the Jeff Goldblum version. It's gross. But enough of that. That's not what you're here for. Presumably you're here for story time. Have you seen my dog? It was shortly after 10 and the movie had just let out. Alana skipped out the doors of the theater and off into the night. She liked skipping, more fun than running and faster than walking. She skipped down the dark street past the closed shops that were either already dark or had staff hiding up inside of them before they could depart for the night. She felt a little bloated from her meal in the theater, but she knew that a little night air and a little exercise would take care of that quickly enough. She wanted to get home. She hummed the closing theme from the movie to herself as she skipped farther from the cars filing out of the movie theater parking lot. Cars passed her, but if they noticed her making her way down the street alone, they didn't let on. Alana's pink hoodie tied around her waist bounced against her rear end, and her bright red hair bounced against the pale skin of her neck and shoulders as she skipped, spots of fluttering color in the darkness. The night was cool, but she didn't feel like she needed to wear it. She'd only brought it with her for the afternoon anyway. When the van pulled up next to her, she paid it no attention. When it slowed down to match her speed, she still paid it no attention. It was only when the driver called to her that she finally looked over at the dented and scratched product of 1980s American automotive know-how. "Excuse me, young lady," the driver of the van called across the passenger seat and through the rolled-down window. "Excuse me." Alana stopped skipping and turned to face the van. She brushed a stray lock of ginger hair from in front of her eyes. "Yeah?" she asked. "Have you seen my dog? He got away from me," the man, middle-aged, pudgy, balding, said while holding up a blue nylon leash. Alana averted her eyes to the ground. "No," she said softly. "Well, would you mind helping me look for him? 4 eyes are better than 2, you know?" the man asked. I'll look for him. Does he have a tag so my mom can call you if I find him?" Alana asked, still looking at the sidewalk. "Well, I was hoping we could look together. I have a little girl just like you, and it's her dog. If I come home without him, she'll be very upset." Alana's face displayed a conflicted look. "What's the dog's name?" "Bumberpuff," the man answered. "Bumberpuff? That's not a dog's name," she giggled. "It's his name. Can you please help me find him?" "Well, I'm not supposed to get into cars with strangers." She ground the toe of her right sneaker into the sidewalk as she spoke. "Okay. My name's David. What's yours?" "Alana," she mumbled. "Alana," he asked, and she nodded. "Okay, Alana. Now we're not strangers, right?" "I guess so," she answered hesitantly. "So you can help me find Bumberpuff now, right?" "I don't know," she replied, almost in a whine. "Okay. Thanks anyway, then. I suppose I should find someone more mature to help me anyway. It would be hard for a kid to focus enough to be helpful, I guess." "Not a kid," Alana protested. "Sure you are. You're what, 7, 8? I'm 10, and I'll be 11 in 2 months. "Wow, almost 11. Still, there's more to maturity than just age. Even if you came with me, how do I know that you'd do what I say? My son would be crushed if something happened to Bumberpuff." Alana chewed her tongue gently for a moment, then said, "I can help. I'll come with you and find Bumberpuff." "Okay, hop in." Alana climbed into the van's passenger seat, and David drove off with her into the night. After driving around for a few minutes, both of them looking intently for the lost dog, David spoke up. "You know what? I bet I know where Bumberpuff went." "Where?" Alana asked. "The park. He loves the park. Let's go look for him there." David drove directly to the park, but did not park in the illuminated parking lot. Instead, he parked his van across the street in front of an abandoned video store. The lights in the parking lot were off, and when he turned off the van's engine, the lot was plunged into darkness. "Come on, Alana. I think I hear his collar," David said as he hopped out of the van. The little girl climbed slowly down from the van and watched as the older man walked quickly towards the park. Not only was the parking lot dark, but some of the streetlights around the park were out. David stopped when he got to the edge of the park, standing right beneath one of the street lamps. "Come on, Alana. It's not safe for you to stay over there alone at night." Alana looked around herself again, at the empty street, at the darkened store, The man who brought her here, the only sign of human life that she could see. She followed him. The park was technically closed at night, but the city knew that people would sometimes cut through it to get from one side to the other, so the main path that ran through the center of the park was lit. The rest of the park was lit only by dim moonlight. A short ways along the lit path, David urged Alana to the right. "Over here," David said. "He loves a spot off this way." "But it's dark," Alana protested. "You're not scared of the dark, are you, big girl like you?" "No," she said defensively. "I'm not afraid." "Let's go then. Don't worry, Alana. I'll take care of you." David took Alana's small left hand in his large right and led her between the trees and into the darkness. After a couple minutes of walking, they were out of the glow of the lights on the path, completely isolated from the rest of the world among the trees. They were alone. Alana's hand suddenly slipped from David's. "What happened?" he asked. "Did you trip?" David turned to look behind him, expecting to be able to make out the form of a small girl on the ground, trying to get back to her feet. Instead, he found nothing but uneven ground covered in brown, dead leaves. "Alana, where are you?" he asked, looking around him. The world had gone almost completely silent. There were no crickets, no birds, just the whisper of the slight breeze through the trees. David cursed himself, turned, and started walking in the direction he'd been going in before. He wasn't too far from the edge of the park here. He would just go back to the van and... He stopped. There she was in front of him. "Alana! Why'd you go over there? I can't protect you if you don't stay with me." "I'm not the one who needs to be protected," the girl said quietly. David looked around, wondering what she'd seen that had spooked her. When he turned back in her direction, only a moment later, she'd somehow moved to stand right in front of him, close enough for him to reach out and touch her. Alana smiled, and there was something about her that looked wrong. Her eyes seemed to have a faint reddish glow, and her teeth were a little too long and pointed. They were not the teeth of a little girl. "I don't normally feed twice in one night, but I was raised to never refuse a meal when one is offered to me." "You should have taken no for an answer," Alana said, her voice sounding somehow older, more mature. David turned and started to run. He was fast for his age and size, but the little ginger girl was faster. The silence of the park at night was broken by the sounds of a man screaming. The sounds lasted only a few seconds before silence was restored. And that was Have You Seen My Dog? Yes, another clever fiction story. I think I like reading the clever fiction stories on here, one, because I think I have around 100 of them, and two, they're generally 2,500 words or less, which makes them a good length for doing videos with, because it keeps the story from being too long, keeps these videos around 15 to 20 minutes, which is a nice goal, I think. The prompt for this one, according to my notes, was "Looks are often deceiving." Now, did you figure out what was going to happen before it did, or did you think this was going to be a sort of a dark, standard, stranger danger story? I could have gone either way with it, I suppose, although looks wouldn't have been very deceiving if I had played it as straight stranger danger, right? And yes, the part in there where David switches the child's gender, because yes, I do catch when I'm reading these things, sometimes continuity errors. But the part where he switches the child's gender from a girl to a boy, that's not a continuity error. That is intentional. So thank you again for joining me by the fire. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope the fire wasn't too warm for you in this hot summer day. Of course, you may not be listening to this on a hot summer day. You may be watching this video 5 years from now. Who knows? But I hope wherever you are, and whatever you're doing, aside from watching this video, of course, that you're having yourself a good day. And I hope you enjoyed the story. If you did, please give it a like, and don't forget to make sure that you're subscribed to this channel so you can see when I post new stories and videos of me eating horrible, stupid things, or building Lego kits, or whatever other mishmash of general crap I do on here. And with that said, I have nothing more to say other than I will see you in the next video.